So I want to welcome everyone. This is OneTab's first webinar, How AI Transforms Software Development. We have a good amount of attendees, and I think more will come in over the course of the talk. So the software development landscape is undergoing a revolution with the rise of artificial intelligence. While some fear AI will replace developers, others see it as a powerful tool for boosting productivity and creativity. In this webinar, we'll explore how AI is impacting the software development lifecycle, from code generation to automated testing. Hopefully, this talk will give you some insights into the future of software development and discover how you can leverage AI into building better and faster software. I had a section here on what is AI, but given the participant list, including some representation from Google and Amazon and some of the people on the panel, I think we can skip that part as we're going to cover the broad strokes of it over the course of the talk. So let's talk about who's on the panel. Who am I? My name is Judah Guber. I am the Chief Revenue Officer of onetab.ai, a software development and project management AI SaaS platform. I've worked in marketing and sales for over 15 years, with the last 5 years being focused primarily in SaaS. Now I want to introduce our other very talented panelists. Felix Dasgupta is a senior software engineer at Wonder and the founder of VSPR Tech, crafting features that assist in food production at scale and building software applications targeting the DJ industry. Felix specializes in front-end engineering with over 10 years of software engineering experience, including features on applications to augment the user experiences for startups and enterprise Fortune 500 clients. His portfolio projects include a wide array of AI-enabled products, and today he is delving into generative AI at work and in his pursuit to innovate and automate his business and lifestyle. We have Ben Cole, who I've actually known for a very long time. Ben is a seasoned tech professional with a rich background in management consulting, finance, and now tech sales leadership in the AI ops space over the past 8 years. Currently at Gitlab, a market-leading DevSecOps platform, Ben has helped some of the world's largest companies harness the power of big data, automated intelligence, and machine learning to drive transformative innovation in software development. His expertise and passion make him a valuable voice on how AI is revolutionizing the industry. So welcome to you both. We're gonna kick it off with Felix here. So I wanted to ask you a question as a software engineer, how you feel AI currently factors into your day-to-day work. Do you believe AI is currently at a point that it can replace a lot of developer tasks, or are we still a little far off from that?
Yeah. So thanks for having me on here, Judah. Right. So I'm a senior level software engineer. I mostly focus on front end related tasks. So I work very closely with product and design teams to build features that simplify tasks for our end user. During my 10-year career, I've worked extensively on AI-enabled products or solutions. And from leveraging, I've seen AI go from machine learning to deep learning to Gen AI and build products at every stage of that. So today I regularly use like GitHub Copilot, and allows me to code a lot faster. I've integrated it into my code editor, i.e. VS Code. It will autocomplete code snippets for me. I could tell it to write code for me. I'll often ask it to quickly create some boilerplate code, or create new types, automate my tests, comment code intelligently for my peers to look at the things I build, and improve like simple algorithms like MapReduce or whatever. It's made a huge impact on my day-to-day. It really drives up my velocity. Having smart code completions and suggestions really make a big difference from how I was coding 10 years ago to like now, even with my skill. I also use AI to often help me like pitch ideas to people in my teams or like lead brainstorming workshops within design and product. Being able to like auto create slides or quickly generate a prototype or a wireframe is an excellent tool to have as a front-end engineer when communicating with product, design, ops, or business sales. So some other applications include like resizing images for social media. That might be a huge thing that front-end engineers use on a daily basis, enhancing image sizes, using AI, creating copy for websites. Maybe you built a feature and you want to show it to someone in your team, and that feature requires like copy or something. So you can auto-generate some copy and kind of mock up a website or a web app or a feature. And that might be another way that I've used AI. Um, Now, to answer your question, now will AI replace us? Truth is, I don't know. It actually might. It's not really up to us. I think as a front-end engineer, you're kind of like this bridge between product sales, engineering, and design. So you need to understand what technical constraints look like when you're translating design visions into reality. So one person can leverage an intelligent AI tool to create and program things in the way they see fit. If they have that technical understanding, then yes, we will be replaced. But understanding how to architect and design a system is a very complex endeavor that I don't think an AI can necessarily do better, or it might take many years to get there. But I think assisted AI is likely going to be able to do that. Creativity is another factor. I think AI can design things in a many different ways. Like you can tell it, hey, give me the sky in 6 different landscapes or whatever, and it'll spit out those images. However, we as humans are still judging what looks good and what doesn't, what works and what doesn't. Having that ability to empathize with your users and building the best product possible, it still requires that human element. And I don't think that's something AI can replace. So I think work itself will transform as AI continues to grow, and AI will be our like tools of the future. I don't know if it'll completely replace us. Almost like how today we use laptops, we use software programming to build things. I can clearly see that we're going to start using AI to do a lot more of the work that we're doing, and use AI to even build things in the future.
That's very comprehensive, and I appreciate that it's not full of doom and gloom about the end of the human race as working on the development side. So I appreciate that part. Ben, so you come at AI from a unique angle as you have conversations with some of the makers in the technology space, as well as the software dev teams themselves. So are there any overarching trends you've been hearing about or that you want to discuss as you come at it from a very unique intersection?
Yeah, and yeah, just wanted to say thanks for the opportunity to speak today and join the panel. Yeah, I mean, I work, largely with, large enterprises, businesses, and over particularly the past 8 years, I would say, specifically in the tech space, I started my journey working in an AI company called Zest Finance or Zest AI in 2018, helping introduce large language models to highly regulated lend tech industry, and then move it to the AI space and the observability, and providing full stack observability for companies through a platform called Logic Monitor and now at Gitlab. And I think it's a really interesting, exciting time to be here in the space. I talk with large teams, large software development teams at all levels, starting, getting into the details of, where we could be at creating impact on the engineering level and then on the organization level. I think we're still in, super early innings. There was an initial phase of, hey, just use AI because it's cool and it's new. And now we're kind of, as you guys know, software development, it's about iteration. And I feel like we're in that first phase of iteration now. So the feedback I'm getting from a lot of the customers that we talk to or just people in the field is that it started with code generation and, there's some helpful things there. But now it's about really thinking about your entire workflow. So assessing where could AI actually help me? Like Felix was mentioning, him and his role specifically, he's identified some really great areas where it's providing measurable impact. However, we're seeing getting really mixed feedback from different companies and different teams based on who's using it, whether senior developers, junior developers, depending on the type of code that you're using. depending on the type of frameworks, type of projects. Some are getting less or more value, and even conflicting information. Like we talked to some companies where the senior developers love it and the junior developers hate it, and vice versa. And that, I think, has to do with some of the context of the background of what you're working on, and the experience that you have. In terms of will it replace us, I'm not worried it will. I think it'll help us evolve and how we do things. And I think, one example I was thinking about is I was served an ad for an application for students, an AI application that helps them just record what's happening in a class, and then the voice recording will automatically transliterate it to words, right? And then it automatically converts that to flashcards that they can just start training off of, meaning technically they don't have to go to class, right? And they don't have to take notes, it all does it for you, and they just display those flashcards. But guys, we all know that a lot of the ingestion and the knowledge comes from actually you doing the work and understanding how code works, or you taking the notes yourself in order to know the context of what's right, what's wrong, where is this going to add value. And that's why I think it's still super early on and humans are still so important.
That was great. And I love that. I didn't even know they do the flashcards aspect. I guess that's like the next level of like an otter.ai type of tool. But that's really interesting. Felix, as whether you're fully integrated in AI tools for what you do in the software development side, or you just kind of dabble in it. I'm curious about what are some of your favorite AI tools that you have currently seen or currently using.
Yeah, I can talk briefly on that. So in terms of my favorite, I would say right now for software development, my favorite is Copilot. It really is super useful. And I would strongly encourage a lot of people to use it. Kind of piggybacking off of what Ben said about, senior versus junior. In some cases, I kind of feel like when you're a more senior dev, it's much easier to use Copilot. I can see Copilot kind of getting things very wrong, like systematically better, cleaner ways to code. Might not be something a junior developer. I definitely didn't know that when I was a junior developer, right? So like having kind of going through the process of correcting your own code, getting the right PR reviews and everything is you really understand those factors. But when you have like AI generate for you, you don't know whether this is like the best format or not if you don't have that experience. So that's interesting, and I can definitely see that kind of being an issue. Another thing I use is Pixel Hunter. Pixel Hunter is great for like resizing images. You can also create like social media images. That's something a lot of us who are front end kind of do, especially when you're kind of sitting closer to the SEO side of things or you're working on like copy. I've also used Plus One recently, which is a plugin that allows you to auto-generate Google Slides to make like presentations and pitches. Many of my favorite project management tools also have like some Gen AI capabilities. I've seen it on like Figma and Notion, just to name a few. And that kind of helps to quickly create like collaborative documents, maybe. Perplexity is also a really cool new way to search using Gen AI. I sometimes use it. I have it downloaded. I don't pay for it though. I love using Gemini at the moment for my catch-all cases. It's very organized, the interface, and Google kind of acts as this like corrective vehicle, like Google search, to see and like cross-reference what the AI is spitting out to make sure it doesn't hallucinate as often. I will often see GPT-4 hallucinate. And on the topic of these language learning models, in terms of empowering developers to build better, I really love Meta's contribution to the space with Llama 3. I think Llama 3 seems to be very developer friendly, and that's the sense that I'm getting from engaging with like the greater community online. I have yet to build something using Llama 3 myself, but I'm hoping to start their series of tutorials pretty soon and maybe start using Llama 3 to optimize and build things on my own. It's very important for developers to not just have access to Gen AI tools, but be able to create and build new tools using these LLMs. So I think Llama 3 is really paving the way for that, or not paving the way, but improving the way. Yeah.
Thank you. That was great. Actually, yeah, we're big fans of Llama 3 over at OneTab as well. So I definitely that part resonated with me. Ben, same question, both tools that you may use yourself or tools that you hear about, the prominent tools that you just hear in conversations currently in the AI space.
Yeah, I think I have a similar experience with Felix. Is what I'm seeing in market is, you know, lots of different tools and developers and teams using tools based on the providers they have today, leaning towards a lot of people still leaning towards open source or kind of building for your own use cases, or aligning with, let's say, the big public cloud providers tools because they have access to those and those are convenient and, more cost effective. Obviously, that's the big thing with, right? I think all this AI costs a lot of money, and a lot of this stuff is paid if you really want to get the full power. So if you have the ability to do it yourself to some degree, then definitely encourage that, and I'm seeing a lot of that. Just again, going back to the theme of using AI where it's going to have the most impact in your own workflows based on your use cases, and don't just use it to use it and think that AI is going to help. Maybe in the best way, help do your job for you, right? So I'm sure other people aren't worried about losing their job, but they're thinking, oh, it can do my job for me, and then I don't have to come to work, 1 hour a day. That's a recipe for disaster, I promise you, at least at this point. But specifically, the tool that I'm most familiar with is, here at Gitlab, we've built a suite called Duo, and it focuses about 10 different features on the different areas of the workflow. So a big conversation we're having around is making sure teams and developers are using the right type of AI at the different right parts of the workflow that it's going to be most impactful. A lot of people talk about code generation, but most developers know, I think it's pretty clouded developers. Code generation is really only maybe 25% of what you do in your day-to-day basis or developing code. There's so many other parts of your process that you're mired in complexity or taking up time. So when we talk with customers and we're talking about measuring the impact, it's first around putting guardrails around different people using the AI in different places to make sure that it's being used where it's going to be most effective. And interesting enough, a lot of our customers, they find a lot bigger interest in terms of like explain this vulnerability, or root cause analysis of why my pipeline is breaking, or how could I use AI to summarize this issue so I don't have to spend 5-10 minutes catching up on what all my other colleagues have been doing in the past. So these are kind of some of the other areas that we're getting really good feedback around, and every conversation is kind of agnostic to different customers and what they're working on, and each individual development team is working on, and where they have their kind of call it challenges or time sucks. So I love it because it's a problem that we're still solving, and it's not some easy button that we can just hit and be gone.
That's great. Actually, I have one follow-up for you. Artificial intelligence is at a certain level right now where it usually is very good at handling one specific task. They talk about artificial general intelligence in the future where it's good at doing multiple tasks. Curious what your just personal viewpoint is. Where do you think AI will be in 5 years or 10 years?
Is that for me?
Yeah, that's for you.
Yeah. Well, the short answer is I don't know, but you asked me what I think. I think it's, really exciting. There's a lot of talk about there's going to be a lot of consolidation. Obviously people are talking about, some of the big public cloud providers, obviously the massive cost of compute. So, the compute only comes from so many places. And then therefore there'll be that kind of natural, consolidation. But at the end of the day, I think there's a lot, the future is something that is probably not even known right now, either unknown or not even created yet. There's a lot of talk about large language models, but I was having a conversation the other day with somebody about small language models and the value of those and how those are a lot more adaptable and can be more precise and more cost effective for very specific use cases, and they'll knock LLMs out of the water. So I think we're going to get a lot more niche. I think AI will allow us to even iterate on AI itself, and get more specific around how we use it where. The thing that I'm very concerned about, I'm not worried about robots taking over the world and killing us or whatever people like to think about in their favorite sci-fi movie. But I'm worried about making sure we're using it properly and it's properly understood, so that it doesn't get used wrong, and then all of a sudden it gets like black sheet or stamped by compliance or legal, and it prevents people from actually using it and exploring and progressing. And then we don't even get to kind of, or the pace of us getting there is going to take longer because of that fear. That I think is a big risk that we just need to track and continue to use responsibly, so we avoid that.
Yeah, I know, I agree with that. It could very easily be painted as something that it's just people view it as either a replacement or, it can be painted with a very broad brush very quickly. So it's actually a really good perspective.
Yeah,
And
or someone uses it inappropriately, and all of a sudden there's a data leak because of it, and then all
yeah,
of a sudden data leak, big company shuts it down and says, we can't use it because it's just not worth the risk.
yeah,
I
yeah,
think we saw that with, I think it was some airline that AI accidentally gave someone a free flight, and then they're like, we need to shut it down right away because who knows how many free flights it's going to give away. And these are real risks, and that's okay. But I think we need to make sure we just approach it with balance.
yeah. The government isn't always quick, but when it comes to those things, they will close those loops very quickly. So, um, okay, Felix, you actually put together a presentation with the help of AI. So, just going to kind of quickly go over the slides here, and we'll share it in a follow-up email. But Felix, if you want to share your screen, just so people can see just how powerful the current tools are. Felix, you're muted. You're muted still.
Okay. Can you guys hear me? Yeah. Okay. Great. Yeah, so I used a tool to create these slides. So initially, just put together a presentation um, by using this kind of extension. It's called Plus One. And it really just put together kind of everything. I added like a couple things here, changed my image. But basically, it threw this slide together, talking about different tools that are currently already in the market for developers. Just kind of laid out a really nice presentation. This talking about ethics. I kind of gave it, a series of things, talking points that I wanted to talk about. And it really took all those talking points and put together these like really nice kind of cohesive slides, gives you some tips at the top, says, this is probably something you should include in your slide, etc. And kind of ends on this like customer case success case study. I loved it. I thought this was like a great tool. Um, yeah, just it did a really good job of kind of framing this topic and like condensing it down into material that I could like easily present to people. And I'm seeing like this is amazing. Like being able to have this, especially someone who's a software engineer who doesn't, I don't often present, but it's important to like get ideas across. So having this kind of a tool to assist, especially like software engineers, make pitches, presentations like this quickly, is such a cool and interesting tool.
It's amazing what some of the stuff that the ability to assist you on certain tasks these days. It really is. We've come a very long way in a very short time. So
Yeah.
Felix, as a quick follow-up, is there any projects that you're currently working on these days that really excites you or something you want to talk about quickly?
Uh, yeah, sure. So right now, I'm currently working on projects on my own. So I have my own company. It's called Vesper Tech. We essentially have built a lot of different products in the entertainment, hospitality, nightlife kind of industry. Um, one of the products that we released a couple years back was called Animo's Mood Stream, which was kind of like an AI-enabled jukebox. You could essentially go into a coffee shop, request music, and then the music that you request will influence like deep learning in the cafe to create music stations that the servers could automatically generate and stream. So the idea was essentially we would be able to provide brick and mortar locations the ability to stream music based on customer preferences. Today, I'm kind of, exploring the realm of Gen AI. I also have a background as one of my hobbies is DJing. I love to DJ. I DJ around the city every now and then. I love music. I love mixing music. I can't play any instruments, so DJing is the next best thing. So in terms of kind of leveraging Gen AI to help DJs, I think is a new initiative that I'm working on. DJs will often struggle with essentially building, refining and honing their craft, especially those who are hobbyists, don't do a lot of gigs in the city. I'm looking to use Gen AI to like empower them to essentially grow and learn as DJs and gamify concepts around that. So more on that to come later, but that is a cool project that I'm working on at the moment.
That actually sounds amazing. And I'd love to hear more about it. And we're going to share some resources and profiles for both Ben and Felix in a follow-up email. I just want to address a little bit of how AI can be applied to solve some of the challenges that we've spoken about and what we're trying to do with OneTab. So companies with a big IT focus are still dependent on the usage, and we've even spoke about it here, 5 to maybe 10 or more platforms, all of which require training and create a very disjointed approach to software engineering. So if you were in an industry where you had to use, 9 different platforms to do your job, it would be both very pricey and very frustrating. It also hampers your ability to use AI to optimize the space. So our solution, OneTab, streamlines the entire developer ecosystem into one platform. It combines certain features from chat to Kanban to CI/CD, continuous integration and deployment, project management, and we have custom AI built on top of it to help optimize a lot of those tasks, giving a lot quicker time to complete your project. We'll also share some resources about OneTab and free trials for everyone that signed up for the webinar. Began developing it about a year ago and have had a lot of good traction and feedback already, with thousands of developers having already signed on to the platform. The next webinar, which will be coming up in about the next probably month or so, will be about project and product management and how it intersects with AI, which I also think is going to be really interesting and very insightful. So I want to thank beyond thank Felix and Ben for sharing their knowledge, and we'll follow up again with some of the resources that we've both talked about and some of their personal information if you're interested in reaching out to either of them. Thank you, and have a great day, and happy Juneteenth, and enjoy the rest of it.
Thanks, Judah.
Thank you, Judah. Cheers, guys.
Sure,